Hi guys, so I think today's busted out. It's gonna be kind of a quick video because, oh, sorry, I was closing a little flap on my camera. The other day when I was looking for my Anna Griffin Cricut cartridges, I came across several Anna Griffin things, and one of them was this, which I never touched, and they weren't inexpensive. I think I got these from HSN a long time ago. Acetate cards for all occasions, it says. So I'll be using these today, and somebody else had mentioned they had either this one or like the one that was more geared toward males, or however, and or more masculine cards. And I think she said she used it once and never again, or however. So I was kind of looking at this and I'm like, yeah, I think I have an idea of what we can do with it. I'll show you what it looks like over cards. But any links in the description box are affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. Of course, busted out, these are old items. Probably won't be there, but that's just the other basic tools that I use that I always keep in the description box. And, oh, I was cleaning up. So what happens in my craft room, if I can't walk around freely, then that's when I know, okay, I gotta pick up the stuff that's just like piles of things around the floor, So I found all these. I remember I reviewed this on here before, but I have all these old magazines that I need to probably go through and either keep the magazine, don't keep the magazine, but usually I keep the fun stuff that's in there. But anyway, I just had this sitting here. I thought that was fun. All right, let's put those down. They're probably going to fall and make a noise. Maybe. All right, well, let's look at these really quickly. And I have an extra piece of paper for what I plan on doing. We'll see what happens. They feel really nice. These are heavy, I guess, because the acetate's not a super lightweight thing. Let me try to get this. Ugh. So I'm just going to cut these things because you can never really tuck them back in here anyway. Even if I wanted to keep them organized with these things, it's hard to get them back in there. So let's see what these are. And then I grabbed a couple. They're 5x7 size, so they're a good size. Oh, I turned that the wrong way. Oh, I can see they're already getting like, when they rub against each other, Do you see that? Like pitting. This really reminds me of her emblem on the Anna Griffin things. So basically you're supposed to take these things and put them outside of a 5x7 card. So this is another, which again, I don't even know how I guess I'm going to have to break the spine on that. And you know what happens when you tuck one card inside another one, right? This one's still sticking out over here, which is always my pet peeve, I tell you guys. Whenever you're putting two pieces of paper together in a crack like that, it always does that. Same thing with the pop-up, So I would trim that down probably a little bit, but really pretty. Look at them black. I think it's pretty. I guess you could add some toppers and things just to make it more dimensional. Look at that on craft. This one actually is... Maybe I should be using these. Now that I see it, I'm like, you know what? I really like it. I know she offers these every once in a while. Like, I don't know if these are available right now. Look at that. That's very pretty. Oh, now it makes me sad about what I was going to do, which this shouldn't make me sad. I think it'll be fine. I like that design, so we have three of that design. Oh, maybe I'll use this one because this is not my favoriteest design. I like this one better because you can kind of freeform, kind of do what you want with it. This one, it feels like that flower, and I would have a hard time covering it up or putting other things, where the other one looks more like a background. So this is probably what I'll use today. Really pretty. But I'll put that to the side. And then it has this gorgeousness right here. So it has that pitting, but it's harder to see once you have a card behind there, I guess. On some of the... That's really pretty, too. Oh, this one's interesting. Like a teacher design. It did say all occasion, right? So it's more like a teacher's design with the classic look to it. Kind of interesting. Probably not my favorite of the bunch. Pretty pretty. I love this. And then it has like her little swirls. Very much the kind of thing she does, right? Obviously. I did find a stack of that wild print paper, and then I found another stack of like just pretty papers that were cut down. And she sold them like in 5x7 size. I'm like, ooh, this is good stuff. So I rearranged some of my craft room. I'm not done doing it. Where all my Anna Griffin stuff, instead of being piled up in that big old leaning tower that I had, I put it inside some cubbies that I have here. So it looks really nice. But anyway, stamps and, oh, that looks like that coleus I just bought. This plant. It's basically known for its leaves. I guess it does make flowers, but maybe not the best flowers. It says when they start making flowers to cut them off, it says. So you have more leaves. I don't know. But the one I got is called Coleus Kong, and they're huge. The leaves are so pretty. I showed it in, I think, my last garden walkthrough. Okay. Just gorgeousness. Look at this. Oh, this one's really, really pretty. I love the decoration on the sides there. Plus the colors of the little bird and everything. This one's a little more fall. Oh, look, there's only 2. No, that can't be possible. No, I guess. I was gonna say, did I ever use this? I don't think I ever used this, but there's only 2 of these, so that, in my mind, either I didn't get one or I used one. I don't see why I would use the one that looks like this, to be honest, but I don't think so. Yeah, I never looked the way it was packaged. I never opened it. Maybe the other one's in here somewhere. Or maybe there's only 2 of that one. I wouldn't be surprised. In my create event, I was missing papers. So I was like, I guess a lot of people were missing papers, so it happens sometimes. Again, that's why we should open our things when we first get them, just make sure everything's there. And there's, this one's more of a garden related, very fancy. And then a little apple. This one's sweet. I like the colors of this, very fresh. And then we have this one with the rose. So yeah, no, I think this is cute. And I would just put like some of the stickers, like a sentiment, and you're done. You know, the card looks very... Now, of course, this means next time I see these on their site, if they have more even right now, I'm going to buy them because now I love them. Even though I've had these for years and never opened them. What are these, pansies? Kind of basic. All right. So what I was planning on doing, since I didn't really know what to do with them. Obviously, I never used them. And then, you know, making mention from somebody else that said, oh, she didn't really like the card, or it just wasn't her thing. What I was going to do is cut this down and make a box top and a box base. So let me figure this out. So this is 5 by 7. So if I did it so there's only 1/2 inch, you know what I'm saying, all around, my box base would be 4 by 6. And it would have 1/2 inch to kind of put on the box. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm a little bit scared. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to cut this. I probably want to cut this with a craft knife. So let me fold this up a little bit. I'm gonna grab a good craft knife. I think this one is okay. I have some craft knives, sometimes you start using them, they fall, like they wanna open up. And then, ooh, I do have a metal ruler, but where's that ruler I'm afraid of? There it is. The reason I say I'm afraid of this ruler, I mentioned this before, and you guys are like, oh, me too. It is sharp. It started rounding out, and maybe I should round it off myself, but like whenever I had it here on my desk, I was always poking myself or hurting myself with it. Okay, so I'm just lining this up here. This is a metal ruler. It does have a magnetic base underneath it for the We Are Memory Keeper stuff. I'm going to really try to stay against my ruler because I don't want this to get all wonky. So I'm really, really holding this against there. I try to gouge as much as I could. Yes! Okay, perfect. I didn't want to do it again. Because sometimes when you do it again, it'll end up splitting it kind of funny. Like a little sprig comes up. There we go. Yay! So I have this piece. We're going to score it. We're going to cut and do all those kind of things. I'm going to do a little bit of math though. So if this is 5 by 7, so our base is 4 by 6, because we're going to take 1/2 inch scoring off of it. Then my base of so I got this paper. Look at that. The base is going to be 4 by 6, but I want it taller than the top. So I don't know if I only want it to be 1 inch. Let's say 1.5 inches. So if it's 4 by 6, I'm just writing this down so that you guys can kind of see how I think about these kind of things when we're doing measurements. This is a pretty easy one. So, of course I don't have like a scrap paper. What do we got? What do you got? Some junk mail. All right. So if it's going to be 4 by 6 and I want it to be 1.5 inches high. Do we really want 1.5 inches? Yeah, that's not bad. If my paper's big enough, I might have to give it 12 by 12. That means we're adding 3 inches to both of these measurements, right? 1.5 inches on one side of the 4, 1.5 inches on the other side of the 4. So that's plus 3, right? Inches. So we have 7 plus 3 by 9. So 7 by 9. I should be able to get that, yeah. So I'm going to cut this paper down to 7 by 9. And I'll be right back. All right, 7 by 9. Let's put these dangerous implements away. And I'll need these in a minute, but I don't need them right now. I need this paper. I don't need these scraps. And then, you know, you have this other side that you can still use. This one isn't as decorative. Some of the other ones have more decoration on the top and the back. This one just has some little swirls. And you can still use this on another box or however you want to use it. Okay. Or just like an aperture opening, you can use that for your acetate instead of like just plain acetate. Cool. Okay, let's do the top and I'll show you what I'm thinking here. So this happens to be the Scoremaster from Crafters Companion. I always keep a link to this in the description box. I think it goes to Craft Stash because that's the best price I've seen, and they usually keep it in stock. Where like on HSN it goes in and out, Crafters Companion goes in and out. So like if I find it anywhere else, I will put those links too. But for now, it usually goes there. I'm gonna turn this over. Wait, let me think. I'm gonna score it here and then. Yeah. I haven't really scored acetate in a long time, especially one with the design, so I'm like, how do I want to do this? But what I'm trying to say is, on this top part of it, I'm going to do the top of my box, and I'm just going to measure 1/2 inch and score it all around. And then down here, it says box base. We're going to turn this and do the same scores, but from this direction. And what happens is this time when I hit, I'm going to do 1.5 inches because I want it to be 1.5 inches, not just 1/2 inch. It's going to be really like 1 3/8, not 1.5 inches. So it's a little bit smaller. So that way your box base is a little bit smaller that your lid fits on it. So recently, if you guys saw the shaker pockets for Tonic Studios, I wish I had my little sample here. It's here somewhere. I always keep my things in a box until it gets too much and then I move them somewhere else. But if you saw their blog posts, it was I did the step-by-step for that month or for that project or that item, the sentiments, which was really cool, really fun to see those come to life. Like I said, they just asked what kind of things Americans would say, and I gave them a list of however many that they requested, and they chose some. So that was really fun. But either way, I made a box by hand, and I basically showed you guys to just go inside, to make it like an eighth smaller or 16th smaller on the box part of it. So if you want more about that without having the Score Master, you can read that, or you can see, people make boxes all the time. Or if you have an envelope maker that also has like a box making ability, usually. Okay, so I have face down. I'm just going to use this. Actually, I was thinking about using the sharper side, but we'll see. We'll see how it scores. This is some thick stuff. So I'm doing 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. On the top part, which is basically just the regular measurement. So I'm just going to go around to each side. You saw it took me a little minute, so I'm not going to waste your guys' time. But on each side, I'm going to go and follow the 1/2 inch mark, which is pretty dainty. I just wanted the box to still be sizable. Normally, I would go for like 1 inch, 3/4 inch even, flap here. So I'm just going to go around, and I'll be back. 1/2 inch, okay? On every side. Those are all done. It looks really nice. And we're just going to snip it just like you do any other box, top or base, whatever. Again, I think maybe we can get away with 3/4 inch, but we'd have to adjust our numbers, obviously, for this. So if there's something you want to do with any card, even if you have a card that's already designed, it's a 5x7 that you like, you can cut it down and do something like this with, How cute would that be with like a Hallmark card or something, or I don't know, just to recycle it, right? Okay, on this one, on this side, so it doesn't matter if you play with those numbers, the numbers on the side. It doesn't have to be 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. It doesn't have to be, because this is 1/2 inch, or this has to be 1/2 inch, unless you want the box to really fit just flat, as thick as 1/2 inch. But you can always make this 3 inches, or however big your paper can accommodate, right? So at 1.5 inches is what I'm going to do is score on this one, because I want this to be 1.5 inches deep. So again, I'll go around. This is Hobby Lobby paper, the heavy duty. And let me tell you, I use this heavy duty paper, was it yesterday? Yeah, for the glimmer stuff, hot foil, and it worked really well. I was actually surprised because I've used Recollections paper and it sometimes doesn't stay very good. A lot of times I think people are afraid of glimmering or hot foiling. Really, you really want the smoothest paper you can find, and then just try it out. Try a little something, and then if it's not really working, it might be the timing. It's probably more the paper than anything else, though. So this one actually did a really good job. It's inexpensive. I don't think it's all particularly that smooth, but I guess it is pretty smooth. But it works out. So, okay, so now we're just going to fold our score lines, and, well, at least that's what I do first. If you want to make your cut marks first, go ahead. Sometimes I cut first, sometimes I score first. It just depends. But you know what? I'll cut first just because it does make a crease. So what you're going to do is go around on every single one of these. This is too small, actually. Let me use bigger. We're just going to cut into one of the corners. So from here to here. And you don't have to do it as deep as I do as far as I could go right from the corner. It just makes it easy. And then I turn it and I do the same corner basically on this other side. From here, you can go like here if you want. You just have to cut a notch out so that this sits in nicer. And like I said, it doesn't have to be so sharp like what I do. You just need to take a piece out. Okay, so I'll go around and keep doing that. And I try to make it so it's on the same you know, each flap has a piece. So you can make it so that you cut into this way, you know, just like this one, and then the flaps are only on these outer pieces. The flaps are only, I make it so that each side has a flap. I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right, so that's that one. And then of course, like I said, I'll go around, score everything. Sometimes I don't really even do a final scoring until I know that the box looks great, but it's kind of hard to tell anyway, so might as well just score it while you're working on it, okay? So I'll go around and score all the lines plus that. And this pretty lady, same thing. I might not go so deep with this one as far as, okay, I'm gonna be on the back of it. I'm gonna take off, again, cut, boom. And this time I am gonna leave a little bit more. Just because this is delicate and it's so small, we only have that 1/2 inch to work with, so I don't wanna take too much off of that to give me a little more surface to glue. Okay, and that's how I'll do that one. Hopefully you can kind of see I left a little more of it. It's very hard to see. there we go. All right, and then I'll score. With the scoring on this one, same thing. I'm just gonna be a little more careful. I'll probably just really use my hands more than anything. You know, you can score it if you want, but this stuff is really responsive because it's plastic, you know? It just stays so good. Okay, I'll be right back. So I guess I could have cleaned up this area before I came back. This stuff is so sturdy. Like as you're folding, look, it doesn't even want to come back up. It's just like wants to stay like where it folded. So we're just gonna kind of play with that a little bit. We have to put her back where she needs to be. But that also makes a nice tight lid because the lid wants to like hold on the way it wants to hold on, right? So that's good. So we can use that to our advantage, and we're gonna glue all that. So I'm gonna show you here what I'm gonna do there because I think it's easier to see on this other one. Let me see. I am gonna use my Nuvo Deluxe because I know this stuff glues a lot of different surfaces together. If you wanna use a double liner or what's it called? That red liner, like that thick stuff that really holds really well. I'm just gonna use a little bit of glue. This is the one I lost the lid from. Let me use a different one. Yeah, okay. So what happens is when you lose your lid, I don't know if you knew this, your glue dries out. I'm just joking, of course you know that. Okay, so there it goes. So I just put a little glue on the flap and I'm gonna hold it. I do have some little holders. Actually, I have some more that Lisa sent. Some little clippies like this. But sometimes when it's a large piece, I really like to just hold it myself because I want it to stay together. These are from the Dollar Tree. I really want it to stay together, especially down on the side. So a lot of times I'll still just hold it. I don't have any, especially with Nuvo Deluxe adhesive on paper, it'll hold like in 15, 20 seconds pretty well. But with a box, I always just really want to make sure that it stays together to make it look especially nice. And I will do the same thing with this one. Oh, now I forget which glue is the right one. Is it this one? Well, I guess it'll be whichever one puts the glue out. Okay, so with these, same thing. I'm just going to put a little glue. It dries clear, and I know it'll hold this. Well, I'm pretty sure it will hold this. I don't know, actually. I've done other things where we use acetate, but I've never really done acetate to acetate by itself. But we'll see. So again, I guess I'll just move on to this one just to show you. A little glue. You know, roughing it up might help too, but if you really want it to look nice and crystal, what I mean by roughing it up is I would take like my a sanding, one of those little tools I always use, a nail buffer, basically the yellow one or the white one, and just kind of buff this a little bit because it makes it a little bit grainy and then it'll help stick. But for now, I'm just going to use plenty of glue and just wait for it to set up. Okay, I'll be back. I did hold them for a while. The glue does take a minute to actually dry, right? Not just that it makes contact and it holds on, which is what it does pretty quickly. So I held them for a while and I'm putting this and I can kind of see like this one's already getting clear, so that one's drying up. The last one I did is still pretty white. So we will wait. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's been like longer than 5 minutes and I'm still waiting. Ay, yay. Of course this is dried. I mean, this is ready to go. It might not be dry, like I probably can pull it apart, but it's not the same as this. If you let it go, it's gonna, because it's plastic, you know. Red liner tape would probably be the fastest, like I said. I don't know that it holds up as well. Some people really love it. It hasn't been a tried and true method for me, so I rather use glue. And this glue, what happens is it dries, but it still has like it just holds really well. And maybe you can see like down here, it's pretty clear. It's becoming more and more clear where it's still pretty white over here. So gotta keep waiting. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is taking so long. It's literally been probably 30 minutes. The very first one I did is pretty clear. That's this one here. But this is the last one, and I don't know, you can see there's still some white glue in there. And I have to take Miranda to school, so I'm gonna leave it like that. In the meantime, I was looking through a bunch of my Anna Griffin stickers and things. And I think I'm just gonna pop something like this on there. I had other ones that are different shape, and some of the sentiments that I had in this shape weren't exactly what I would want, but congratulations I think is nice and generic, so I think that'll be cute when we pop this on here, just like there. Right, just give it some dimension. And again, you can add more of those stickers and things like that. But hopefully you can kind of see that this is perfectly going to fit my box base. Pretty cool. Okay, so I probably could take it off. I just don't want it to end up opening up because the glue is still kind of wet, you know? So I will take the girl to school. I'll be back. And I honestly didn't think this was going to take this long. But yeah, think about it. I mean, it's just glue, wet glue with 2 plastic pieces. Where in this, it just kind of gets into the paper. I mean, it's nice and sturdy. Feels really good. So it just takes a little bit longer. All right, I'll be back. Okay, guys, so I am back, and enough time for me to go outside. It's a little humid, even though it's in the morning. I took off my sweater, and it's still not dry. So it might be the humidity too, but either way, it's still holding. It's just I wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna open up. So there's that. So as you can see, it's drying. It's just taking its time. It's sweet time. Okay, so let's pop this on here, and hopefully in the pictures it won't look too. Look at that. I mean, you guys. So for me, this is probably the use I would use for this, but they do look really pretty tucked over a card. You know, either way, I need to use these. And like I said, I'll probably go look for more of them. I have such a sickness. I've looked for things on eBay when I'm like, I missed the twist and something or other, or some kind of thing, and I go and find it. And sometimes people sell for the same price, basically, or a little more. It just depends on what it is. So for me on these, I'm like, I will go find more of these. And maybe they're even on Anna's site. I don't know. They're pretty. They're pretty. I do like this use for it though. And then we can just take this and maybe pop it on there. So that's that. Again, I'm gonna have to let that dry. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about when I talk about red liner tape. I had one sitting in front of me and I literally found it the other day and I thought, oh good, because I was thinking, where's that one I started? I didn't want to open another one. But I don't see it, again, of course, because it's on a little carrier. And even though it's bright red, I mean, it's not this stuff, but you can use double-sided tape. This is not the strongest one. It's good for, you know, card crafting and stuff, that's fine. But anyway, let's see. And yes, I remember that these are stickers, yay! I think that's pretty straight. If I really squish it down. So there it is, quick and easy, simple, really pretty. I mean, this is very, very pretty. So thanks for watching, guys. You know, that's today's Busted Out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Like in that same tub, I found so many dies, and they're really like for the fronts of cards. So I'm assuming they're like between 4x6 to 5x7-ish sizes, because that's kind of what she does. What I want to do right now, actually, the reason I'm like, okay, I gotta move on, is I was watching a video. You know, I don't know if that's gonna work. Just people reorganizing things, like going through their stationery, which I just like to watch, which I'm never gonna do. But what I want to do is, I have a blue tub behind me that's like one of those carts you can find like at Michael's, and it's just holding things I literally never use, and it's also in the way. So whenever I try to get things out of this credenza, it has baskets, I can't really do that without moving the stuff and moving that thing out of the way, and then it's just a pain. And then I have all my scrap papers, like, because I'm working here and I take a piece of paper and I stick it in this basket next to me, which is really a Crafter's Companion rolling tote. So what I was thinking about is emptying that blue thing, because honestly I don't touch any of those things, and taking whatever's in this tote out and putting it in there, and then also in that blue rolly thing, putting on my little inks that I usually have sitting next to me that fall over all the time, and that thing has really good lips on it, right? Because it's like a basket on the top and every layer. So I think it'll make it less easy that things will fall like they've been doing. And then that space that I clear out on this other origami rack that I have next to me where I have these things, I'll put the joy of Cricut, my Cricut Joy. Hopefully I'll put it there, and it has plenty of space to go back and forth and do its cutting, you know? So, because it's kind of a small cart, the origami cart I have is not the big guy. It's kind of like more for 8.5 by 11 paper. So I think that'll work. I might make a video of it. It's usually a big mess, and then people appreciate seeing that. Some people are like, okay, you have way too much stuff, which is fine. That's my life. You know, it's my business. But that's just how it is. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna get to work on that If not right now, later today. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye now.